Can you possibly speak?
Is Insight Radio, and my name is Shofu Babalola, and you are now listening to your number one online radio station. The light you need on Insight Radio.
All right, so good evening, whatever state, whatever country, whatever city that you are currently listening to us right from. My name is Shofu Babalola Theophilus, and right now, right here, this is your number one online radio station, Insight Radio. And if you have been listening to this particular show from years back, you know what we do right here, right now. It's all about the PestXperience show. So for the past few weeks, we've been on the PestXperience show, and right now we have an amazing topic that we have been dealing with. We're talking about for this week, or a series for this month rather. It is called Cleaning, Waste Management, and Pest Control. And fortunately, we have one great man, one man in all. I call him everything in one basket. Mr. Femi Kinrin, right here on Insight Radio on the PestXperience show tonight. And he's no other person than Mr. Femi Kinrin. He is the CEO and the managing director of Spotlex World Environmental Solutions. And these environmental solutions, basically what they do is they're involved in cleaning, pest control, and waste management. I mean, that's exactly the series that we are talking about right here, right now, on the PestXperience show. I mean, I am looking forward to learn a lot. My daughters are right here with me to learn a lot from him and to ask questions on what exactly. I mean, one thing that actually brought me into this topic of discussion of cleaning, pest control, and waste management is that we as pest control operators, one major thing that gives us the results that we really care about is proper cleaning and proper waste management. And I thought about it, okay, come on, we should have a topic that would discuss about these things, and we bring in experts that are doing these things exactly. What exactly do they understand? How have they been doing it? How have you been doing it, sir? All right, so welcome with me, Mr. Femi Kinrin on the PestXperience show. You're welcome, sir.
Thank you very much. Please, though you are not very audible, I couldn't hear you very well.
Okay. Can you hear me now better now, sir?
I can hear you, but when you played some other music, I heard you better. So, but when you are speaking now, I'm not hearing you clearly.
Is it good now?
Not very well. But can you hear me clearly?
Yes, I can hear you clearly, sir.
Okay. Initially, the first time I came in, I was able to hear you more, much better than now. But now this is not very clear. But don't worry. If it can be better, we'll make do with what we have. Since you can hear me.
Yeah, we can hear you clearly, sir.
All right. I'm listening to you. I'm trying to log into another device too and see whether I will hear you better from that device.
All right. So I just introduced you to our listeners and those who are actually joining us from maybe the YouTube, or rather from maybe just the YouTube or from the website itself. What exactly we've been talking about. So I talked about how we have been dealing with this series, which is called the Cleaning, Waste Management, and Pest Control. This series, this month, that's the topic we've been talking about. That's something we've been talking about. on the Pest Experience show. And like I said, before I actually got into this particular topic, there is something that is very, very unique about it. For every pest control operator, one thing that makes our work easier or makes it work faster. Can you hear me better now, sir?
Yes, I can hear you. I've changed device so I can hear you.
Okay. So
Hey,
I was
I can hear
saying that
you.
you can hear me better now, sir.
Yes, yes.
All right, great. So I was saying that the major focus of this discussion is actually targeted into cleaning, waste management, and pest control. For the past few weeks now, we have been talking about these things as a series, and I'm super, super glad to have you. Thank you very much for joining us tonight to be able to share your own world of experience in the pest control industry. And we look no further than to go into the ocean to bring in an expert who has all in all inside just one single basket. And that is no other person than Mr. Femi Kinrin. He is the founder and the managing director, CEO of Spotlex World Environmental Solutions. And basically, what they do is to merge up the gap and bring up cleaning, waste management, and pest control together. I'm super excited to have you, sir, and I'm sure my listeners are looking forward to hear from you, from your wealth of experience and knowledge in this fields, in these three fields. I mean, how have you been able to merge these fields together, both cleaning, waste management, and pest control? So please, to the people that are just joining on for the first time and they really want to know you and the services that you render, please let us know you, sir.
All right. Thank you for having me, SB. I'm so excited, super excited to be in this platform this evening. My name is Femi Kinrin. Uh, I'm a chartered waste manager, the Council of Waste Management Society of Nigeria, and a member of International Solid Waste Association. I'm equally a member of PECAN, and of course, a member of CPAN. I'm also a consultant to the Federal Ministry of Environment in both pest control, cleaning services, as well as waste management. We are also consultant to NESRIA in the same area. We we actually have an all-in-one. Just as you have said, we call it a one-stop shop for environmental solution. That's actually what we provide. So we do not just end our services at doing waste management practically or cleaning services alone or pest control. We are also consulting, just like the way we do both environmental management plan, environmental audit, environmental impact assessment, and so on and so forth. So we are actually deep into the area of environmental management, as it were.
Great, sir. It's super nice to have those experiences and work experience in those fields. I mean, I just wondering how are you able to pull up both cleaning and waste management, then also pest control together, sir? What's your experience so far, sir?
Okay, talking about how to pull uh, is as simple as saying how is one father able to parent three children, or four children, or five children. The reality is that all of these responsibilities are intertwined, because you can't be talking of cleanliness whereas you leave any of these outside of the box. For instance, if waste management is improperly carried out, it will affect pest control. And if you are doing pest control, remember we talked about IPM, integrated pest management. So you can't be talking of IPM without cleanliness as well as waste management. And so, for instance, like this question you asked, one of the companies we offer the 3 services for, and even much more. We are their consultant on. I mean, we are their in-house consultants. We do their audit. We also manage their waste. We manage their we control their pests, and we also manage their janitorial. So at the point when we had to take up the job, they said, how are we sure we will be able to do all without one affecting the other? And he said, it's as simple as saying, how would one person father 4 children, whereas some other persons father much more than that? So that because we are the one who will audit you, we are also the one who will manage your cleanliness, manage the waste that comes out of the cleaning, and of course ensuring that pests are adequately controlled. I said the simple issue here is that we will have nobody to blame if your environment is not sparkling clean, because we are the one responsible for all of the job. So it's just very easy to say, okay, we want to eat, we want to drink at the same time, and we will also want to do we also want to cook the same food. So it is what you cook, you are going to eat. So it's very simple. I think it's just about the easiest thing. It is easier for you to do all of this together than for you to do part of it and another person is doing the other. And if the person doing the other is not doing it very well, you will actually have such a person to contend with, because the result of Mr. A is going to affect the result of Mr. B.
True. Fantastic. I mean, you talked about a point now that has to do with having clients that, businesses that you've worked for do their cleaning and do their waste management, then also do the pest control. I think that's a very strategic move, because something I actually noticed about the pest control industry is that first thing that needs to be done is proper cleaning to prevent pest infestation or invasion. That's very, very important. And proper waste management is very, very important. So what are the major challenges? Because this is PestXperience show, and we are looking at the experiences of experts' views like you. So I want to ask, what are the major challenges that you've had in combining these 3 together to be able to provide a solution? Because our major focus as service providers is to provide a solution. What exactly are the challenges that you've overcome, or probably the challenges that you've faced in managing these 3 sectors together?
Okay, talking about the challenges. Now, have maybe a waste management structure on ground. Because when it comes to waste management, as it is, the way you can be mobile and do, let's say, pest control in very many places, you can't do waste management in many places at the same time. And I give you this instance. Somebody can call you in Maiduguri now and say, come and handle cleaning for us. You move to Maiduguri to handle cleaning. Now, another person could call you in Lagos and say, come and handle pest control for me. You go to Lagos to handle pest control. Now, in the case of waste management, the facility to manage waste and the processes is actually quite different, because waste management is not more like one-off.
Unlike other ones, you could go and do, let's say, post-construction cleaning, one off. Now, you could be handling janitorial. Now, it is not one off, but you only need few equipment to handle janitorial. You want to do pest control. There are places that they will just call you for one off. There are places they will call you on retainership. You do it, let's say, on quarterly basis. Some places will do it on monthly basis. Some places will do it biannually. Some will also want to have you on ground, maybe because of their, pay station monitoring. They want somebody who is going to be on ground for that. But then when it comes to waste management, the facility you need, because you can't be doing waste management practically without having vehicles on ground. You can't be doing waste management without also having where you are going to take the waste to. Whether you are going to start at the end of the day and recycle some and so on and so forth. But then you must bear in mind that you would possibly not be able to have, let's say, compactor for just one client. Because you have a client, let's say, in Bauchi now, and he's the only client in Bauchi, you can't possibly dedicate a vehicle to that one person. So, which is a challenge. Now, another challenge, especially in that same area, is also that in that particular area, you would need the licensing of the government to also be able to operate. There are places you go to and the government is like identical about it, that they don't have any structure in place. But quite a number of places, you can't just go in and say you want to begin to collect waste here. Because when you begin to collect the waste there, for instance, you can't just go to Lagos without having the license from Loma and say you want to collect waste. But you may be able to enter Lagos and do cleaning. You may be able to enter Lagos and do pest control. Yes, in the case of Lagos, for instance, LASEPA will be able to give you license for as long as you meet the requirements. But you see, when it comes to waste management, there are clusters you must be in charge of managing. So you can't enter this person's cluster to manage waste there, but there's nobody that have a specific cluster when it comes to the issue of cleaning or the issue of pest control. So those challenges are part of the issue. Now, there are also places that you get to. Yes, you need their licenses, but then the procedure might be a bit long. But then it's easier for you to actually have the relevant licenses for pest control than for you to have licenses for waste management in most places.
Wow. I mean, there are two major points actually go from this major challenge. Number one is that the government is a case study or a major concern when you are talking about waste management or proper waste management. Because waste management is not about just packing those waste. It's number one, it has to do with recycling and how exactly is the end result of the waste. Because one major part I actually got in bringing up this topic of cleaning and waste management is the dump sites. Where are these waste going to? How are they being managed in those areas? So as an expert in that field, I don't know, do you have any, I think you actually are the best fit to actually give us a very good view on how are these waste being managed at the dump sites, or are they dump sites that you just pull up those waste? Are they people that collect it? Are they recycling companies that receive it from you and turn it into viable products that people can reuse? Maybe like plastic now, people use them as fashion materials. Tires are used as very good designs at homes now. So I don't know what are the recycling? Are there any receiver for the waste that you collect?
Okay, now when it comes to the waste as it is, or let's say waste management actually come in various phases. There is an aspect of collection and transportation. Now, there is an aspect of maybe we call it depositing of the waste.
Okay.
Now,
yes.
Now, and this, what I mean by depositing the waste now is that where the waste actually goes to. Now, and before you now get to that, you might have to start talking about separation, because when waste is not separated and they are collected, at the end of the day, you will first need to take it to a dump site if the waste are not sorted waste. Now, when they get to the dump site, for instance, that is waste that are not sorted. When they get to the dump site, if you want to move to the next phase of it, then you need to also engage people who will sort it. Now, when you have people who sort this waste, then you now begin to think of the off-taker. That is having a market for these various waste. Now, the various waste needs a market if you want to make another living from it. It is one thing for you to just collect everything together and you just dump somewhere. Now, there are states, I can tell you, that do not even have a dump site. For instance, I have a number of states where we operate, and we have to buy a place to actually take our waste to. So, and when our waste get to such places, we would need to also engage people who will come in there to sort this waste, because the waste that we collect, especially the MSW, which we call the municipal solid waste, when we collect them, we ensure that, of course, because they are not sorted from source. When the waste is sorted from source, you are the one paying for it, and that's one other aspect of it. When the waste is not sorted from source, it is the polluter that is paying you for it. Now, I hope you can get that difference. One, you are paying to collect. The other, you are being paid to collect. So the one you are paying to collect, then you must automatically have a market for it. Those ones must be sorted before you collect it. For instance, you are paying to collect pet bottles, you are paying to collect glasses, you are paying to collect cartons and papers, you are paying to collect plastic, you are paying to collect scrap metal. You see? But when all of them are pulled together, not sorted, the person giving you the weight is actually paying you for it. Now, you will now have to engage people who will sort them. Maybe there are bags there are polythene, there are all sorts of things. Now, you begin to look for a market for each of these products. See, in some parts of the country, there are ready markets. But in some other parts of our country, there are no ready markets. For instance, there is hardly anything you sort that you don't have a market for in Lagos. There is hardly anything you sort that you don't have a market for, let's say, in Port Harcourt. There are so many things there's hardly anything you will sort that you don't have a market for in Abuja. But there are other parts of the country that you don't have a ready market for those sorted materials. So, and those are the issues. So, things you don't have a market for, or when the market is actually expensive, then you begin to think of the space to keeping all of this. Are you with me, Mr. Shobu?
Wow, that's okay. Yes, we can hear you now, sir. Can network just.
Can you hear me?
Yes, perfectly well, sir.
Okay. So
Yeah.
I don't know if I fully answered your question.
So I got it to the point of municipal waste.
Yes.
So think about you have to
So
pay. So I didn't get who exactly do you have to pay? Are the people that are collecting the waste or people that are sorting it?
now, in the case of the municipal solid waste, that
Yes.
is when those waste are not sorted, when those waste are not sorted, the generator of the waste now pay you to collect them,
Wow.
and you in turn pay those who are sorting for you. So you would be making money from two streams when the waste is not sorted.
Hmm.
And what you need to pay is actually, very small compared to when it is sorted and you are buying those waste. So if the waste is sorted, the person generating the waste makes money, and you also incentivize them for giving you sorted waste. But once the waste is not sorted, you are not paying for it per se. You are not paying for it per se, but then it costs you more. Uh, at the second phase of it, where you have to engage people who will sort this waste, and of course, when you engage people to sort it, you also you pay them, and you also sell it at a rate that is higher than whatsoever you are paying the person that is sorting it. But also bear this in mind, that one challenge in that area, especially when you operate in localities that don't have a ready market or where there are no competitive markets, and you have to take it to a very far distance, sometimes you run the risk of taking it to such places, and what you make at the end of the day is actually very small compared to what you have invested
Spent on it.
in the business in the first place.
Wow. So there are other things that are actually involved in this now. So the next process of after sorting the waste now is the pest infestation that this would actually happen. I mean, one thing actually got my attention was actually these dump sites that all this waste are actually going into. What happens there? You start seeing that some other pests are browning in other places, flies are everywhere. As an expert both in the cleaning and the pest control field, then inside also waste management, what are your recommendations in all those dump sites? And also another question is the government. How is the government supporting you as a waste manager collector, and as a pest control operator? What are your recommendations to the government? That's another thing.
Okay. Now, first thing, the when you are talking about the situations as it has to do with the dump site. Now, there are standard recommendations uh, about the siting or the location of dump sites. Dump sites,
Good.
unfortunately, in Nigeria, is called landfill,
Yes.
engineered landfill. But then there is no single landfill in Nigeria, because when you actually happen to be talking of landfill, so many things don't end up getting into the ground. I have the opportunity of visiting a couple of countries where they do this properly. Unfortunately, here in Nigeria, we do not do it properly. Now, when you are locating or when you are siting a dump site, you don't site a dump site in a place that is close to human dwelling. For instance, what we have in Olusosun in Lagos is an aberration. It's not expected to.
Okay.
What we have in Igondo to be, and a couple of other places And just as we have them here and there in a number of places in Nigeria. So you don't locate a dump site in a place that is having a kind of emission that is injurious to public health. So it's meant to be very far away, and a number of things are supposed to be put in place to ensure that the emission do not become a public health hazard to the. When you have pests, for instance, you have rodents on a dump site that is not in any way close to residents. It is not
it shouldn't be a problem.
To your house, to your facility, maybe for instance, you see a snake in the jungle. It shouldn't be a problem to you because they are supposed to exist. But when we have dump sites, human dwelling, close to residential areas, close to official areas, close to the maybe business areas, commercial areas, that is where it becomes an issue. So, like I said, that our recommendation is that dump sites are not supposed to be within houses. It's not supposed to be in any area that needs too regularly. However, when we are also talking about this, ensuring that the majority of things that get to the dump site do not end up as a waste is also essential, because when all of this waste is actually competing for space with man, waste will be competing for space with man. But then when men begin to make use of them, then you will realize that we will be moving very fast to. We won't say that having waste in the houses don't have something to do with what is it called? Pest management. And I give you this instance. Someone who keeps his waste.
Sorry, sir. You made one of the points. I don't want us to go too far before I actually bring up that topic. You said that it's very important in waste management that you ensure that the landfills or the dump sites are not filled up with waste. I don't know if I got that correctly. They are not filled up with waste. Okay, I think you should explain more on that. Yes, sir.
Not being filled up with waste will mean that, for instance, the better part of what gets into the manage. Remember that I said that waste management actually comes in phases. There is the aspect of the collection, the transportation, clean, and so on and so forth. Whether recycle, reuse, of course, you have to recover them before you recycle, reusing them, and so on and so forth. All the various R's.
Yes, the 3 R's.
If the waste gets to the dump site, for instance, as we call it dump site, and at that point, plastics are taken out because they are either being reused or recycled.
Okay, good.
Let's assume that the metals are taken out. Is the volume of waste not reducing? Fantastic. It is obviously reducing.
Yes, sir.
Now, at the end of the day, maybe when all of these other variables are taken out, you are left with the biodegradables. Now, when these biodegradables, like the food waste, the kitchen waste, as it has, as the case may be, now they are not even wasted in their own, at any rate, because all of now the leaves and other biodegradables are mixed in a particular proportion, and at the end of the day, you will now have the inorganic what is it called, manure that you can also sell at the end of the day. So by the time you are done with all of these processes, you are left with little or nothing in the landfill. So, and that is what we are saying, that not allowing the dump site to be filled, use of them they would be filled with waste. But then when you are not making use of them, certainly waste will be competing for space with man. Now, looking at also the option of generating biogas from the waste. So at the end of the day, almost everything is actually being put to use, and we don't have heaps of waste actually gathering in one place.
Great. Thank you very much for emphasizing on that. Then also, when we talk about that's exactly what is involved in dump sites or landfills. But what about homeowners? Because we have homeowners that are currently listening to us right now, and there is this thing I saw online that your waste, the dustbin or your waste should be stored at least 10 meters to about 100 meters away from the main building. So how exactly are homeowners meant to actually store their waste to prevent pest infestation or pest invasion, sir?
Please come again.
Okay, so I was asking that for homeowners, how exactly are they meant to actually store their waste? How can they store their waste? Because there was something I read online that each waste should actually be stored at least 10 meters to about 100 meters away from the main building. So for homeowners or facility managers, how can they store their waste to prevent pest infestation or pest invasion, sir?
Very simple. The closer your waste is to your then the more susceptible to infestation your building is. For instance, when we go to inspect and people say we have infestation of a particular kind of waste, of a particular kind of pest, the first question we want to ask them is the kind of infestation. What particular pest is actually infesting your facility? Now, someone who says, "Oh, well, in my facility, I have cockroaches," and we ask, "Oh, what kind of cockroaches are we talking of? Is it the German roaches? Is it the American one? All of those." Now, many of them say, "Oh, I have this small." Now, we will tell them, now, certainly the way you manage your waste, now the cleanliness of that environment is responsible. Now, we now understand that cleaning, you see this nexus now, because when you look at such places now, we now ask, "Oh, do you possibly have this kind of cockroaches only in the kitchen or in the living room?" Some of them say, "Oh, no, we don't see it in the living room, we see it in the kitchen." Now, it could mean that such a kitchen is actually quite. Just tell them, for instance, at the end of the day, what do you do with your waste? Some people will keep their waste in their kitchen for 2 days, 3 days, 1 week. Now, and out of this, the pest begins to place. So, for instance, let's still talk about the you are not supposed to keep waste, or maybe in the kitchen, in the sink overnight.
True.
Kitchen is neat at all time. Clean everywhere you need. As you trash them, ensure that your trash is moved. Don't leave it in your kitchen. But then if you move it out of the kitchen, but you just keep it by the door, in it in the kitchen. So the farther away you move it, just at the areas now it becomes easier for you to even be able to control anyway too close to your residence. So you see, you clean, you trash, now you move away. Also ensure that you do, you do your required pest control. Now, I've had a customer who told me, I bought cats, and the cat
That's to chase rats.
I mean, they are not killing the rats in the house. And I say it's very simple. It's very simple. You can a cat be running after the rats that would not want to be killed.
Exactly.
They find ready food. For instance, you have leftover food, you have meat on ground, already roasted, garnished with all kinds of things that you did not, maybe you didn't finish eating them, you just keep it on ground. They go there to eat that, and they are feeding very fast. By the time they see a cat, by the time they see a rat, they are no longer hungry because they have enough to eat. And so you will even see sometimes that the rat is eating, the cat is also eating. So why will I be pursuing the one that will be running and giving me unnecessary stress when I can find the one that will not give me stress? So now, so when you don't keep your environment really clean, food. So that's one of the major reasons they are looking for food, they are looking for water, they are looking for harborage. So
exactly.
In your house, so they will certainly come. So what is the food for cockroach, for instance? Dirt is the food for let's say reptile. When you already have rodents in your house, you have frogs in your house. Yeah, certainly you will see reptiles coming because he can find food around you. Oh, someone said, "Oh, there are too many wall geckos in my house." I said,
"That's because you have cockroaches now."
I said, "There must be food there. There are cockroaches. There are other flying insects all over the place." So now, but then, if you do the pest control and there are no insects that they want to come and eat, naturally they will jackpot.
Exactly.
So
I love that. I love that. Great. I mean, the way the ecosystem works is that one particular pest is another reason why you have more of this particular another species of pest in your apartment. Just like you emphasize, you talk about wall geckos. If you can find wall geckos in your apartment, it means that there are German roaches or there are American roaches around that you need to actually deal with. And that's super fantastic. Because even for pest control operators, we just complain to me, you have wall geckos. I'll just tell you, do you have this particular insect in your apartment? I say, yes, okay. This is what we're going to deal with. If you deal with this one, they would never come into your apartment. That's a fantastic point, sir. Thank you. Thank you, sir. Great. So another aspect that we need to look out for in this particular topic of cleaning and waste management and pest control. I mean, in the next set of interview like this, we are looking forward to bring up someone in the regulatory aspect to tell us about what exactly is government doing in terms of proper waste management and ensuring that pest infestation doesn't really occur. So we did a research in the city of Ibadan, your state. We went to the market. Me and my team went to the market in Agbowo area, in University of Ibadan area environment. So we're asking people, how has this waste management affected your business? How is the government, what's the government saying about all these things? We recorded it, we recorded some videos, we recorded some voice notes from people. There was this particular point from one woman that actually got my attention. And in that dump site, there's a canal there. And everybody, it's not even a dump site. In fact, I'm calling it a dump site because I thought it has turned to a dump site totally. Because that particular place is just a canal. And you have people from bikes actually throwing out their dirt inside that canal. And this woman is complaining bitterly about these things. So that's number one. And number two is that one said something about a regular or your state government coming into the place. They have people that would come into the different communities to call out people. Okay, people are Yoruba, come on, there's this Yoruba name they give them, that these waste managers are around. They're at the junction. You guys should come out. So, as an expert in that field, sir, what exactly are the challenges, or what is the government saying about waste management, sir?
Okay, if I heard you very well, you are actually talking about indiscriminate dumping.
Exactly, fantastic.
Okay, now, incidentally, there is no law in Nigeria that promotes indiscriminate dumping. we have quite a number of law in almost all the states. And of course, when the states don't even have enough law, the necessary laws are there that says that you must not dump in an undesignated place. Even if you have your house in a place and maybe the adjoining land to your house is not being occupied and people are coming to dump it, you have the responsibility to report and prevent them, because the law says that you have the duty of care and charge for at least maybe up to 100 meters or thereabout from your home. So you can say, no, you cannot dump this in my backyard. You cannot dump it around me. You can insist and report to the relevant authorities, preventing you of preventing people from dumping anywhere close to you. Now, but then the fact that these laws are existing does not mean that the laws are being enforced.
Another thing.
So the challenge we have all over the place is the enforcement of this law. As a matter of fact, it might not be the best yet, but then the enforcement is a major challenge. Enforcement is a major challenge. Unlike in other countries, for instance, there are countries you go to and they won't even put all their kinds of waste together. Now, one of the reasons we have so much challenge with waste is because people don't know exactly the value in this waste. And permit me to say that my own definition for waste is that waste is actually a useful resources in the hand of someone who do not know the use. Because you will call it refuse. I will call it resource. Somebody will call it trash. I will call it cash. See, someone else will call it waste. I will call it wealth, because I know what to do with each of them per time. So, for instance, somebody can just say, okay, look, put this carton somewhere, set it on fire. And I look at this carton and I say, okay, how much do I sell this per kg? So maybe you have up to 100 kg and you want to set it on fire. And I say, oh, this is 60 naira. I mean, times 100. This person is setting on fire. And I say, okay, please, don't set it on fire. Let me help you carry it. Now, so if it is maybe 100 kg at 60 naira, this is like 6,000 naira you are trying to set on fire. So if you have seen that card in what you are setting on fire, will you possibly set it on fire? Certainly not. If you have seen this in this waste that you are dumping inside canal, will you carry your 6,000 naira, for instance, and go and dump it inside canal? Certainly not. If you know the value of what you are throwing away carelessly, you will possibly not throw them away carelessly. And that is also one area people should actually look at. You know, we have this lazy people mentality that, oh, it is small, it is small, it is small, it is small. So because it is small and it is not yet big, that is why people throw them, away carelessly. I have had reason to interview some of these boys that scavenge. Now, people will call them scavengers, but professionally, we call them waste miners. Now, and some of them will tell you that in a day, they make 50,000, they make 70,000. Some of them, you see them looking wretched. They have built houses, they have property all over the place. Some of them are looking very young and looking unassuming, and they even have wives in their numbers. Now, someone who tells you that, okay, yes, I make up to 30,000 naira on daily basis. Now, look at 30,000 naira on daily basis from scrap, from things that they dump all over the place. 30,000 naira on daily basis. So if such a person works for 10 days, he has made 300,000. So for 30 days, we are talking of 90,000. Please, how many government worker or how many employee in any country or in Nigeria, let's say in Nigeria, earns in the neighborhood of that on monthly basis. So some of these people are actually earning very huge living from the things you and I are carelessly throwing away. So yes, they will also have their own running costs. Some of them already have, vehicles, the trucks that come to help them carry it from the various places they pack it from. Some of them of middle age have young and very small boys who are collecting and they are bringing it to their own home. So now, when we are not talking of what the government could do, it is best that the government should go ahead and educate people that they should stop throwing money, around. Stop losing resources while you are looking for work to do. See, the waste management industry is actually an industry that, for as long as population is on the growth, there is no downtime in waste management industry. There is just no downtime.
Because waste keep coming every time, every
industry.
moment.
Because on daily basis, people are uncovering what they could use each of these waste for. When you see an evolving area, then they are going to be generating waste. Certainly. So it's just for you to find that is being generated in any area. In an area where all they are generating are just leaves and whatever, food waste and a couple of other things, will give you compost. Now, have you not seen metals all over the place? Walk through, the length and breadth of Ibadan. How many metal will you see people dropping on the computer, and you throw the thing on the ground? Somebody will come and carry it. As a matter of fact, if your vehicle gets spoiled and you are not careful, they will have removed everything that looks like metal on it. Now, we did a research on the northeast during the heat of Boko Haram attacks here that are burnt here and there, because of the maybe bomb blast and this and that, or a vehicle that has an accident and it gets burnt. Before the owner will come back, if care is not taken, the scrap metal dealers will have just already, they have taken axe and they have butchered everything and off they go. Now, this is, you see that they will say a car is stolen and so on and so forth. Cars that are stolen are hardly sold into the market as a full car. They butcher it and all the parts are sold in some cases.
Wow.
So when government begins to enlighten people, what is the work of National Orientation Agency? What is the work of our media practitioners, that they cannot actually educate these people, for people to know that rather than running after white collar job, that this job is ready for you to actually do. And when that education very well for free, that we will have less issues on saying don't dump waste here, don't dump waste there, because at the will be so small that you can hardly even notice it, because it is money they are dumping all over it.
Fantastic. Thank you very much. I think you've actually pinpointed the major aspect of this topic or this series that we're dealing for this month. And that's exactly the proper information and proper awareness, exactly what is involved in proper waste management, effective pest control, and proper cleanliness. Thank you very much, sir. This last point that you actually dropped was really fantastic, and is bringing me to introduce my next guest for this series for next Sunday, in person of Mrs. Jumoke Oluokere. She's the founder of the First African Waste Museum here in Ibadan. And what she does basically is to convert waste into reusable materials and turn it into fashionable materials. She makes tiles from waste, even from covers of plastic. So, I mean, people are looking forward to this. People come out from different countries to the Waste Museum to see the magical stuff that she does here, or that she's doing here in Ibadan. And this is actually very fantastic. To elaborate on the point of very, very good money in waste management. I think with your own support, we can actually build up that awareness, that proper awareness in the industry. Do you agree with me, sir?
Very well.
Fantastic. So I think I'll be reaching out to you on this. Thank you very, very much. You've nailed the net. In fact, you've nailed it on the head. What was the grammar? Thank you very much for your time, sir. It's a wonderful time spending time with you to learn from your world of experience. Like I said, this is the PestXperience show. And for every listeners, whatever country, whatever state, whatever city that you are currently, this is your number one online radio show that you literally don't want to miss out from any single thing or anything at all. We still have amazing topic and regulatory aspects. We have someone from the government coming in on the show to tell us what exactly the government is doing in terms of proper waste management. So, do you have anything to sign out with, sir? Do you have any recommendations for owners, facility managers?
My recommendation
everybody can not sleep this night.
My recommendation is that people should understand that waste management, pest control, and cleaning are just like triplets given birth to by the same parent. You can't divorce them. They are inseparable. They are like or triplets, as the case may be. So when you do not do one properly, if you don't clean very well, it will actually bring pests into your house. If you clean and you don't manage the waste very well, it will also bring pests into your house. So all of these are intertwined. So, and it is important that we marry all of them together and have a clean environment. A clean environment is very, very important. And I wrap up by saying this, that you can choose the water you drink, you can choose the food you eat, but then you cannot choose the air you breathe. And once your environment is not neat, the air you breathe is polluted. Thank you.
Fantastic punchline. This is I said, don't leave me. Thank you very much, sir. I mean, it's been a wonderful session from learning from you as an expert in this industry. I'm super excited to have you on this show. Thank you very much for your time. I'll see you next time. This is your number one online radio station, Insight Radio. And my name is Shofu Babalola. Have a wonderful night rest.
Thank you.
This is Insight Radio, and my name is Shofu Babalola, and you are now listening to your number one online radio station. The light you need on Insight Radio.